This morning, the Nintendo Direct came out and it was actually really good. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it, considering that Nintendo generally decides to, be very conservative with their consoles. But this one was actually pretty strong. They're giving you 4K support, they're giving you 120 hertz. The platform actually looks really strong. You have some really strong titles coming out on it with Borderlands 4. You also have Elden Ring and the new one, Dustbloods, coming out. You also have Hollow Knight Silksong that has gotten finally announced for the Switch 2, which means we're actually getting Hollow Knight finally. But the biggest question that a lot of people have, that a lot of people are confused about, is the pricing. The pricing of this Switch 2 is going to be $449, and then another version being $499. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, a pretty big step up from the original Switch, which I believe was about $350. And while all of the features kind of warrant this higher price point, it is also being included with the games at other price increase as well. It's only been a couple years since we've moved from like AAA titles going from a $69.99, $59.99 price to $79.99, and we're already going up to $89.99, which is $90 for a game is pretty high. You also have this entire discussion around, which is, from what I can tell, been a discussion for a very long time, around the price point versus value versus the entertainment value you get from a game that warrants if this price point is worth, or if it's even should be even higher, basically. And it's a lose-lose situation, honestly. But it's interesting that Nintendo was the first company, not Sony, not Microsoft. Nintendo was the first one to decide to pull the trigger and up those price points for these games. And for a family title, for a family platform that's generally family platform oriented, it is a interesting choice. But also, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of families have generally had multiple Nintendo Switches, and you would think with this whole system where you can have one game share across the entire house, then it kind of makes sense that they increase the price point a little bit, because I guess in their thought, you buy the game once and you're buying it for an entire household for 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 people to play it. However, for those players that are the only person picking up this game, or if you're a child or an adult that's the only person in your family that's playing games, $90 basically after tax, $100. If we're being quite honest, $100 a game is a very high asking point, and it's basically, at this point, we might as well be prepared in the next year to see Sony do it, Steam do it, and Microsoft do it, and just make all of their platforms just also be $80, $90, $100 for a single AAA title. Now, a lot of people have been doing this discussion online about whether or not we should have already seen these price points go up even higher a long time ago. I don't really know if that's even debatable, simply because the fact that we have not really seen a price point increase in a very long time is interesting. I don't know, the value of this is just on a case by case, person by person standard. And I know a lot of people try to use the whole $50 in 1992 is $100 now, or whatever, how they do that whole inflation thing, and the value of $1, basically. It is interesting. I was not expecting this price point. I know I would pick up the Switch 2 specifically for some of these titles, but I don't think it's going to be one that I pick up instantly. I'll probably just try to trade in my current Switch and get some money off of it through GameStop or something. But none of these games that they currently are announcing, outside of the From Software game that doesn't come out until 2026, as far as a console exclusive, from what I can tell, a console exclusive that is also multiplayer for some reason, outside of that, I don't think there's anything that needs me to like buy it instantly. The other thing that I really wonder is what is this going to do for the future of gaming? Because let's be honest, as Nintendo is going, so will the rest of the gaming industry, because if Nintendo thinks that they can price point their games at about $100, obviously for physical. Digital is supposedly supposed to be $10 cheaper, but still, at this point with taxes and everything, you're pretty much going to be paying about $100 per game, per title. Now obviously there will be some games that are still being at a lower price point. Not every game will be at this big price point, but like their flagship titles will probably be that. It is a interesting situation. I don't know how I feel about it fully. I need to really sit on it. I need to really see what titles, what games I want to play to the point that I would spend $100 on it. Back in the day, obviously, when the games were even $69.99, you could probably warrant it a little bit more. The discussion then became, do I want to spend the extra $10, $15 for the deluxe edition or something like that? Now, if the base game is $100, I can only imagine the deluxe edition of these titles, or even the collector's edition being, double, triple that maybe. It's too early to tell what this is going to do to the gaming industry. I don't really think we need to be all up in arms about it, but it is very interesting considering it's Nintendo. And Nintendo has always been the one that has done their own thing. They set their own price point, they set their own standards, but at the same time, Nintendo is the standard of the gaming industry. So if Nintendo does it, I don't see a lot of reason why Steam, why Ubisoft, why Epic Games, why Microsoft, why whatever platform you're playing your games on, don't, follow suit one way or another. The other thing that is also a big component of this is, unlike previous Switch titles, and unlike the previous Switch title, a lot of their games that they're putting on this platform are not Nintendo-based games. They are other studios, other publishers that are coming to Switch, and this seems like they're really trying to compete for that console space. The only thing that obviously they can't touch are the Sony exclusives, but they are really trying to set this game and this console as a actual third competitor for hardcore gamers. If you're bringing games like Elden Ring over, if you're bringing Hollow Knight, Silksong over, which obviously they already had Hollow Knight on it, but making it a launch title, or a game that they are going to promote that is releasing around the same time as the Switch 2, that you should buy a Switch 2 so you can play Hollow Knight Silksong, is interesting. Borderlands 4 is going to launch with every other platform on Switch. So if all these games are becoming a option, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future they try to do some, maybe console exclusive specifically for the Switch. And it's a good thing, but at this price point, you're going to see more and more people either jumping on these subscription models where you just pay the $15-20 a month and play whatever you can, or you're just going to have people that really decide, is this game good enough for me to spend my $100 on? And in this economy, it's going to be even tougher for certain studios to get the support that they need because of the price point. And I'm hopeful. At the same time, I'm a tad bit worried about the future of gaming, but it's a $1 trillion industry at this point, and it's going to leave some people behind, or you'll have people who are going to just be more frugal in their spending of games and pick up more titles on sale. It's an interesting situation to be in. Those are a few of my thoughts on this whole Switch thing. I was very surprised with this Nintendo Direct. I thought it was really neat, but these prices are going to be interesting for the future of gaming. If you are looking to get the Switch 2 at launch or just in general, let me know what you think about it in the comments. And if you feel a certain type of way about the price point as well, let me know about that in the comments as well. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.